Hey guys, this is Camper 15, joined by my uncle Daryl, and we are here to finally talk Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. Now, since the movie's kind of been out for like pretty much a week, um, we're gonna probably just jump into spoilers. If we recorded this video like maybe 2, 3 days after the movie came out, then yeah, we would have done an extensive non-spoiler, but I guess non-spoiler review here. I think the movie's good in my opinion. I know this movie's getting flack for some reasons, and that can be debatable, but that's when we get to the spoilers and stuff like that. I thought it was good. I like the whole story element of selfishness and desires and wants and needs. That's kind of the prevailing factor in the movie. I liked all the characters and what they were given. And the action was I thought the action was crazy. And then I thought also the visuals were great. So that was just me. That's from my Uncle Daryl.
Have you seen WandaVision?
Yeah.
You saw WandaVision.
Yep.
All, what was it, 13 episodes or whatever, WandaVision?
Yep.
The very first Disney Plus Marvel Studios TV show, WandaVision.
Yep.
Didn't you like get that sense of this is a reverberating cycle of the same nonsense that WandaVision did? I did. From the second he visited Wanda, I was locked in. I was in. I was like, okay, yeah, all right, we're gonna get Wanda. Wanda and Doctor Strange, they're gonna team up and they're gonna find this bad guy, whoever this bad guy is. And next thing you know, they're gonna wreak some havoc. And then here, lo and behold, the bad guy is Wanda, looking for her kids. WandaVision 2.0. That's what I call this movie. Okay. That's all it was. Like the same doggone thing. They had references to the TV show, WandaVision. It was just, and what if too. They referred what if, Captain Carter, Captain Marvel, or whatever. She had another name, Proton or Prozone or something like that. You know, Monica Rambeau's mama, Reed Richards, and Professor X. Now, I gotta admit, I almost lost, I almost lost the ability to hold my gastrointestinal fortitude. I lost my sugar honey iced tea. I lost it. I was good. Black Bolt, I was good. I was loving every minute of it. When Wanda killed Black Bolt, I was just like, I know you were too, right? You said spoilers. We're throwing out spoilers out there. Wanda killed Black Bolt. I thought it was cool. However, if Reed Richards is the smartest person in the Marvel universe, why in the blue hell would he tell Wanda, when this guy opens up his mouth, you are finished? I would have been like, hey, you know what, Black Bolt, I can't talk to her no more. I can't talk to her. Why don't you say a word to her too? But no, he's gonna Wanda. When he opens his mouth, he can do all of these wonderful things with his mouth. All he has to do is open it. Okay, so Wanda's like, okay, then shut up. Problem solved. Another thing that I found about this movie to be highly disturbing is the fact that Doctor Strange played absolutely zero role in the ending of this movie. Zero. Nothing. Did he have a battle with Wanda to go ahead and duke it out? No. All he did was make America Gomez realize that she is the key to Wanda's downfall. That's all he did.
I would disagree with that point, but okay.
Oh, golly. Okay, you would disagree. Okay, all right. But in the end, it was Wanda who wound up defeating herself, realizing that what she was doing is wrong. Just like in, guess what? WandaVision, the TV show, did the same thing. realized what she was doing was wrong and turned everything back the way it was. WandaVision 2.0.
Yeah, that's my uncle's retelling. For me, it's
That's
kind
what I
of
saw.
for me,
That's what I
it's for me, it was kind of a different real story for me. And it's just because I think I like the moral of this story, which
I
again, if
can't
you
wait to hear it. Let me hear it. I can't wait.
okay.
I'm just bubbling with excitement to hear your moral. What did you get from this movie? What's the moral of the story?
Well, I would say this. My moral of the story, which I think is probably my favorite part of the film and how this film was just connected, was it really truly started off at the start of the movie. After the first scenes when Doctor Strange went to what's her name's wedding?
Christine.
Christine's wedding, which I
Yes.
don't know why the hell you would go to your ex's wedding. I don't know if
He
you
was
even
still in love with her. I get that.
yeah. And they had a nice little side dialogue of her asking him like, "Are you happy and everything? Are you good?" And obviously he lies about it, because we as the audience know he's not being truthful to himself.
Of course not.
And he's saying like, "Yeah, I'm healthy, or I'm happy." And throughout
Yes.
this entire movie, it's kind of, and this is integral to him and Wanda, um the fact of like the desires of needs, wants, selfishness. We see throughout this movie, what happens with Doctor Strange's character in terms of other versions of himself wanting that like selfish desires or those needs of wanting that stuff. Like heck, we even see it in the What If show. A guy with this crazy power who can become Sorcerer Supreme. All it has to do is if he just gives into that selfishness, like the one evil version of himself we saw fight with the Musical Knights, which I love that battle. He used the Darkhold because he wanted a whole need and desire just to be with Christine and everything. And then Wanda's whole thing. Now, some of it has to do with the fact that she was corrupted by the Darkhold, and the Darkhold is mentioned that it corrupts the mind and the things around your surroundings. So, the whole field she was in, those already corrupted because she was messing with the Darkhold after the end of WandaVision and everything. And we saw how much the Darkhold, along with her own selfish desires, clash with each other, pretty much mixed their whole, mixed the whole freaking chaosness of the Darkhold and then her own selfish desires that fused into wanting to create a freaking crazy strong villain that, she wasn't thinking straight and she was just giving into her selfish desires. And then at the end of the movie, obviously, we see that, when she ended up scaring her own kids from the other universe, she saw the monster who she truly was. Yes, can it be like kind of a rehashing storyline of WandaVision? Yes, I agree, but at the same time, I think it's different for its own story because it's kind of Wanda truly realizing, you know, what the Darkhold did to me and what drive and my selfishness for wanting to get what I wanted took me places that I probably didn't want to go. And I like that storyline because it's honestly, I think, a real life element because if you have the power to do so and you have those selfish needs and desires, you'll do whatever it takes to get what you want because you feel like, okay, I'm doing this for my right reasons. But in all honesty, you might be hurting other people just to do that. That again, I don't want to take this to real world elements. That might be going on what's going on in the world between two countries right now, or one country that's doing what they're doing right now. But could happen anywhere. If you got the power to do so, you'll freaking rule it an iron thumb and do what you want. But that's just me. I like that whole story point. I like that whole dichotomy between the characters of Doctor Strange and Wanda. So that's just me. That's the one thing I took away from this film that I love.
I get it. I get it. And I did say, up until the point where he went to go see Wanda, I was all all in. I love the whole thing with the dichotomy, but him going back into the past and thinking about Christine and what could have and might have been. I got that, because when you love someone and it don't work out, yes, there are feelings there. Feelings, especially because if you made certain mistakes in your life and you begin to look back and you have changed based on those mistakes, yes, you're going to want to set certain things right. That part I am completely get. I get the dark hold. I do. But why rehash the same thing you did in WandaVision? It made, for me, it made no sense. They did all of that in WandaVision. Her selfish needs to have a family. She was missing the Vision. Vision got killed. So what she did, she decided to move to this small town, change the small town for a family that she's always wanted. I get it. Even had the kids in the show. I get it. But there was no point to rehash this all over again for 2.5 hours. Again. There was no point. They could have did something else. They could have did some other character. They really could have. It was just, if it's about love lost, again, Captain Carter was in the movie. You could have did Captain America. I don't know. You could have. Do something to introduce, who potentially could be the main antagonist of the film. They kind of touched on it in Loki with Kang the Conqueror, but for right now, we don't even know who the main antagonist is going to be in this new phase. We don't know. They didn't touch on it. I was looking for something, somewhere, somehow, that they would do something to move forward from what they've already done. And what they've already done, WandaVision, Loki, Hawkeye, they've done all of those already. There's no need to rehash them. And that was my feeling the entire time. Why am I looking at this all over again? I know that Wanda has all these drumped up feelings about a family because she's lost so much, being an Avenger. I get all of that. I understand that. There was no reason to rehash it. There wasn't, not for me.
I guess my response would be
and I told you we wasn't going to agree.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to convince you on liking the film. I just maybe the whole thing, and again, we'll get into the whole other reasons why people are critiquing the film, for other reasons which I think are pretty petty at basic, if anything, more than I think what you're saying. You're just having a constructive criticism of how you felt about the film.
Correct.
I guess to answer your first point about the whole main overarching villain of this phase, I think, again, and I think we talked about this off screen as well.
We did.
I think this phase is just establishing like these new sets of heroes that are going to be coming. I really don't think we're going to get potentially the major overarching main villain of whatever this culmination of this version of Marvel, this next version phase of Marvel, however long it's going to go, is going to happen yet. I think really, truly, we probably won't get out that whole thing because people don't know if King the Conqueror is going to be that.
Right.
We don't know if, since now the inclusion of the Fantastic Four, they already confirmed the Fantastic Four movie. We don't know if Dr. Doom will have the typical Dr. Doom. He wants all this power.
And like I said, they did confirm Fantastic Four. John Krasinski is Reed Richards. He's in the movie. They've also introduced the inclusion of the X-Men with Professor X. I know I didn't know we were going to talk about being light on the spoilers or just going all in on.
We're going to go all in.
Go all in on spoilers. So yeah, Professor X, Patrick Stewart he made an appearance.
Yeah.
Okay. She killed him too, but made an appearance.
Yeah.
The Inhumans made an appearance. Yeah, they touched on a TV show a little bit some time ago. ABC did, and it failed miserably. But Black Bolt entered into the MCU, which means here comes the Inhumans. Yeah. So they got into, and I gotta admit, I was really stoked to see that. So that part led me to believe moving forward that I really don't think we're going to see the main antagonist. And I hate to say it, but I don't think we're going to see it until Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because Kang the Conqueror, I think, is one of theirs. Dr. Doom obviously is one of theirs. Galactus is one of theirs. So I really don't think we're going to see it until Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those three.
Yeah,
But-
one of those three. Exactly. But all three of them are
Mhm.
Fantastic Four villains, unless there's something I don't know that you can tell me about Kang the Conqueror.
I think from the way they're hyping up King the Conqueror, he could be the overarching villain with what his
Right.
storyline's leaving off. And
But what I'm saying is that he's a Fantastic Four villain, if I'm correct.
I don't really believe in that whole just because he's this property's final villain.
Right.
doesn't mean-
I mean, I'm not necessarily
Yeah.
saying that. All I'm saying is the majority of the heroes that come up against those three villains
Mhm.
are the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, even though he made a slight appearance in the TV show Loki, I honestly think now, especially after watching this movie, Fantastic Four is going to show the main villain.
Yeah.
And it's probably a majority of who the main villain is. It's going to confirm who the main villain is.
Yeah.
Now, do we know of a release date for Fantastic Four? I personally haven't heard one. You?
I think they said they're looking for like more than likely, probably, if not really late next year, probably 2024.
2024. So that's what I'm thinking. Fantastic Four. But again, I got to admit, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me just being, a comic old head that, is really looking forward to see what's next, as opposed to looking back to what has already been done. But yeah, I got to admit, from those standpoint, now don't get me wrong, I liked the movie. I really did. Everything that you mentioned before, the action, the acting, the characters, I liked the movie overall. It was just stuff I've seen before that, all intents and purposes, I didn't really want to see, didn't expect, I should say.
Yeah, I see phase 4 as like phase 1 of Marvel again. It's just kind of introducing these new characters. Like I think next month we're getting freaking introduced to Miss Marvel's character next month.
Another Disney TV show.
Yeah.
Also, and honestly, I didn't know who I gotta admit, I didn't know who America Gomez was. When I first saw her, I thought it was Miss Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought it was Miss Marvel until I was like, wait a minute, Miss Marvel is not Hispanic. So who is this?
Yeah, it was
yeah.
Well, we'll get into America Chavez soon.
I'm sorry, I said Gomez earlier. My apologies. Chavez.
The next thing too, I think right now Marvel and what Kevin Feige is doing right now, he's not building to that. And heck, I can even say maybe they don't announce who the main overarching villain of this whole culmination of this vision is. Probably won't be announced in Fantastic Four. I think what they're truly building, I think what this movie's like, what Spider-Man No Way Home did with a little bit of that hint of the multiverse thing, and then what this movie truly did, I think they're just setting up to get Secret Wars. I think they're setting up for Secret Wars.
And that's another thing we talked about as well too. The main antagonist in Secret Wars in the books was the Beyonder. So I'm just like, okay, if the main antagonist if the whole ending story arc is going to be Secret Wars, and the main antagonist of Secret Wars was the Beyonder, then how does Kang, Dr. Doom, and potentially Galactus fit into that? Which makes this whole thing, you're just like, man, I can't wait till they put a bow, just wrap this bow all the way up and gift wrap it all the way up for us. So I'm still excited. Doctor Strange didn't really, deter me one bit. But yeah, to me, it was just, I have more questions than anything else. But I'm still looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that people just the way just continue watching these series and just see what it leads to. Going on to certain elements of the film. America Chavez, yeah, I didn't know a thing about America Chavez. It only took me till I watched other people's reviews to understand, like, oh no, she has a legit like
Correct.
comic series, and
Correct.
that apparently she has like two different like comic backstories. They went with her comic accurate backstory of the fact that she got lost her family was lost away in when she activated her powers and everything. There's somewhere in the multiverse, and they kind of leave that whole element hidden. The whole fact is like, oh yeah, you may because Doctor Strange sees the backstory when they get into the universe 838, and they go on this one thing that shows their backstory, and we see America Chavez's backstory. And Doctor
Right.
Strange throughout the movie says, hey, don't worry about it. You might find that if you're still alive, I guarantee you your parents are more than likely still alive somewhere in the multiverse. So
Right. Right.
that's gonna more than likely be her storyline going forward with whatever we see. And if they end up doing a Young Avengers movie, she's definitely gonna be in the Young Avengers team. And that's gonna be her whole storyline of one day coming across her parents throughout the multiverse. So I thought that whole storyline was cool. Some other crazy highlights. The geez Louise, the best when Doctor Strange first showed up to meet Wanda, and she pretty much knew everything that was going on. She's like, "Oh yeah, that was me who did all that stuff." At the very start of the movie with Defender Strange and Emma Chauvin, she was like, "Listen, that was just me being nice right there. You don't want me when I'm mad." Um, and then she ends up getting to the freaking Wong's like home base area, and comes in with a cloud of smoke, and she
Yeah,
was like,
now I gotta admit that was nice. That was nice. Going in the Comertage with that, you know, that cloud, so to speak. Yeah, that was pretty cool. You
yeah.
know, yeah.
I love that whole scene where her and Doctor Strange are talking. He's like, Wanda, you don't have to do this. Listen, let's just listen this out and let's do that. And then Wanda's like, I told you, don't mess with me right now.
Yeah.
Essentially saying, don't F with me.
Let me ask you this though,
Yeah.
and this is one thing we never really talked about. Didn't you kind of think that Wanda was a little OP?
No, they specified that in WandaVision that when Agatha Harkness and WandaVision revealed that she was the Scarlet Witch with the chaos magic, she already specified that she can pretty much be the strongest being in the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah. I just remember a series of books called The Ultimates. And I'll let you see them whenever you decide to come to Germany. I'll let you see it. And the third series was, about Wanda who killed the Scarlet Witch. And if I'm correct, she was killed with a Colt 45. So I think, that part right there just made me think that, like, you know what, if the books had her like this, then the movies just, and I know that, because Marvel Studios and the MCU is a lot different than what we read or what I read, me being the old head that I am. It just got me thinking that, I was just wondering, is Wanda OP? But you are right. Agatha Harkness basically told her, yes, she's probably one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe if she just lets herself go.
Yeah.
And this movie, she let herself go.
Yeah. And it goes to show you the true terror of Wanda and the power she could have wielded, say, if she just stayed evil even after the Avengers defeated Ultron. She's literally the strongest Avenger out of all of them. Right. And it's like, I think it's probably like the only like the crazy strong tiers of MCU gods that probably could like legitimately shut her down, because this movie nobody could touch her.
Well, if you really think about it, there has to be a balance. There really does. Thanos was so powerful and so strong. There had to be at least one person that can go toe to toe with him, even if he had the stones. So at that time, we all kind of felt anyway it was Wanda.
Yeah.
Because when she got a little ticked at him, when he says, I don't even know who you are. Yeah, Wanda pretty much held her own with him. So But in order to balance those scales perfectly, yeah, the Avengers do need that one, maybe two people, and I think Captain Marvel is the other one, that are like really, really, really ridiculously powerful. Because I think now with where we're going, we have some really powerful bad guys on the other side that are coming. And you have to have that balance of, can this side take a blow from this side and vice versa?
Yeah. Another thing that I liked how they mentioned, this movie does take place after Spider-Man No Way Home, because they actually reference Spider-Man like multiple times throughout this film.
Right in the beginning of the movie too, from the start.
Yeah, they like when they first, after they defeat the one octopus monster that I guess his original name is something else, but Marvel couldn't use it because it's already copyrighted by like Conan the Barbarian or something like that. They were talking to America Chavez, and they were like, "Oh yeah." Because she was asking, like, do you know about the multiverse? He's like, yeah, a little bit. We had to deal with Spider-Man and his whole nonsense. And
his whole nonsense.
And she's like, wait, Spider-Man, what the heck is that? He's like, you don't have a Spider-Man in your universe? She's like, no, I don't.
That is.
Yeah, I like that because they didn't identify him like, yeah, there's this kid named Peter Parker. Because guess what? Peter Parker's identity is rocked from everybody's mind. I'll say this. This may be a little slight nitpick. Again, this is kind of the same thing that's been going back to like freaking phase 1 days where, well, mostly like around phase 2 when the Avengers were all established, when that freaking octopus battle was going on, where the true hell was Spider-Man? Was he like somewhere swinging around or doing his GED?
Oh, where was any of them?
Well, really, truly, the only, well, if this is Hawkeye, he's probably somewhere at his home, so he's far away. Spider-Man's truly the only hero that's in New York right now. So
that's true.
It's like you would think, unless he's maybe dealing with something that pertains to him, he would see this on the news and he would go back and help Doctor Strange. But then again, Doctor Strange is kind of tired of dealing with Spider-Man anyways. He's like,
I think, and honestly, Spider-Man probably tired of him after the last movie as well.
Because I know, and yeah, I know when he was talking to Wanda, he's like, yeah, we got a bug dude. Yeah, he's like, coming from the Avengers that are left are literally still out there that are just left, or either you got Hawkeye or the bug guy, and I kind of don't.
Wait a minute, wasn't Falcon and Winter Soldier New York too?
I don't know.
I was about to say,
he probably don't pay them no mind.
Oh, either. You know what? No, they weren't. They were in the South.
Yeah.
It was either Louisiana or Georgia.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
So they're not. Yeah, they're not there, and
they weren't there.
Yeah, and he's like, and I think he also mentioned when he mentioned the bug thing, he's also talking about Ant-Man. Ant-Man's in San Francisco, so
correct.
He's really not going to rely on anybody else and only knows somebody else. But it's like, but to be honest, it's not like nothing Spider-Man could have did in this film. He would have got wrecked within the first start of the film. So I thought that was cool, mentioning that whole standpoint. I'm trying to think of anything else. Okay, for me, the Illuminati scene was just insane.
Yes.
There was always the rumors of Captain Carter. Heck, they spoiled it because they showed that quick little trailer in the hype ups of Captain Carter's shield. I'm like, okay, she's in it. Who's the other two people on the Illuminati? Now, people thought, which I'll get into the criticism and the critiques of this whole Illuminati scene and stuff like that, because I don't want to say something to the people that were kind of over dramatic. But actually, that discussion might take a little bit longer. We're going to pause the video real quick, and we'll be back real soon. Okay, back. Yeah, those are kind of the three things. The one critique that everybody's critiquing about for some stupid reasons, the Illuminati and how they were handled in this film. The whole multiverse thing that people brought up, which, no, actually, those were kind of two nitpick things that people were blowing out the butt that were saying, oh, this makes this movie the worst and one of the bad movies. Some other takeaways that I wanted to have from the film. I thought it was pretty cool that even though that at the part of the film where they just defeated or destroyed the Darkhold, there was still like a temple, an ancient temple that still had the Darkhold writing, and they went there. That's that noise. I don't know what that is. Okay, there was a weird noise in my background, but that actually came from my uncle's mic that he was using. But
Why you gotta put me on blast like that, man?
I'm sorry.
That was my uncle's fault.
Anyway, back. Yeah, I thought the whole dark hole thing was cool, and then the whole like I guess little demonic like creatures that were there were pretty dope looking.
Yeah, that was pretty goofy.
I did like that whole idea of like what did they call it, like gate hopping or something like that.
I'm not. The term sounds familiar. I'll say that, but it was something like that. I'll say that.
Yeah, where essentially you can possess another versions of yourselves, like
Of yourself from another. Yeah.
body. And
Yeah.
then it was actually also a pretty interesting thing because they bring this up in the first part of the film, the whole fact of like, oh, the MCU characters when they dream, it's them actually seeing another multiverse version of themselves.
Correct.
Which
Right.
I thought was pretty cool because then it's like even when we sleep and everything, it's like you're wondering, like, wait, so if we have dreams about these what if scenarios, does that mean there's a whole multiverse in our own real world? I highly doubt that, unless that's some sort of thing that could be figured out through science.
Right.
But I thought that was cool. What is it? I did like the whole incorporation of 838's Christine. How at first she didn't trust them, but then because in the heat of the moment, because they were later getting chased by Wanda, which was actually a pretty scary scene right there. In the sewer or in the like the bottom sewer areas or something like that. She grew to trust.
And I think another thing was Sam Raimi.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the whole thing about Sam Raimi directing this, for those of y'all that don't know, Sam Raimi's got his chops in horror films. So it wasn't really shocking to see his imprint on this movie. It wasn't a lot of gore, but it was by Disney standards, and it was a lot of horror-like themes that were going on throughout the movie. Some people liked them. I'm assuming so because they like horror movies. But I really saw his imprint on this movie, which comes up with all of these different things that Cameron was talking about. So, sorry, you go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that whole scene, and then them seemingly working together to get out of the whole issue that they need to get out of, in the one Doctor Strange universe, which that Doctor Strange, the one Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange. At first, I thought that was like the what if version, but it was a completely different version.
Well, but they got it from What If.
Yeah.
Again, which is one of the things I touched on before is like, yeah, we talked about, we saw all of this stuff before. So, why rehash it? But yeah, it wasn't the exact same Doctor Strange, but yeah, we all know where they got it from.
Yeah. And the way that battle was handled with the musical notes and everything, I was actually pretty creative, and I actually did enjoy that.
Yeah, I admit that was pretty cool.
So that was the whole thing there. We'll talk about the post-credit scene when we end off this video and everything, which is actually
the mid-credit scene.
The mid-credit scene. There was a Bruce Campbell scene. It took me a while to figure this out, what it was, because the dude's old now and I barely could recognize him. So yeah, he was just like some hot dog, some pizza meatball stand guy.
He was a street vendor. Yeah. He was a food wagon street vendor.
Yeah. He essentially made himself punch each other for like 3 weeks. And then at the end credit scene, he just let go. Movie's over, essentially breaking the fourth wall and stuff like that.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that was hilarious. You gotta admit, that was
funny.
Come on, man. That was funny.
It was funny. I was kind of like, oh, ha ha ha. And then I just laughed.
But at the same time, though, I was expecting an end credit scene to just basically give me something, well, the mid-credit scene did that, but the end credit scene is, what people wait for to get that glimpse of what's gonna be next on top of what they showed in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
So, but the mid-credit scene was actually pretty, it was actually well, as far as the mid-credits, there was something that I liked, and there was something I didn't like. So
yeah. The final battle between Wanda and Doctor Strange, when he used the Darkhold to try to possess his dead self, but then the souls of the damned was like, you can't do this, you can't do this, but he ended up getting control of them, which I thought was pretty crazy, and used that to distract Wanda for the time period to help America realize her powers and everything. I thought that was cool. I do like what they're going with America Chavez in terms of what they're gonna do with her. It seemed like she's gonna, because it's funny because they made this whole reference with Ned from No Way Home. It's like, oh, you could be a wizard or something like that. But it seems like America Chavez is gonna be somebody that uses magic alongside with her multiverse powers of being able.
I think she's gonna be the next great apprentice. I don't know if Doctor Strange, but she's going to be an apprentice because she's a Kamar-Taj. Learning the craft of, as Thor calls them, wizards.
Yeah. And also I think, with the story elements of what, Doctor Strange is doing and the whole foreshadowing of events of how he saw his other multiversal, Doctor Strange versions like do these things that might be like a taboo, because maybe he took the wrong approach. I definitely could see him where he creates the MCU's the 616 version of the Illuminati based on who are there and everything. So I definitely could see that happening. And I think
for the 616, Earth 616. On the conversation with the Illuminati.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm sorry. They made a short reference to the Illuminati. They made a short reference to Earth 616 in the movie as well, too. And that part I thought was actually quite cool.
Yeah, I think with what Doctor Strange saw in this movie, I think especially with the whole thing about Wanda, he's gonna make a version of the Illuminati members based on whoever the smartest minds are still out there left. So obviously Reed Richards, because this is gonna be a Fantastic Four movie, it's gonna be interesting to see where that happens. Probably maybe a much older Spider-Man if they end up having Tom Holland, do any more films. Well, I think he's gonna do more films. But if he's like maybe in his like 30s or something, maybe have that like a smarter Peter Parker, stuff like that. We'll see where that goes. But I definitely do think he's going to create an Illuminati, and I think he's going to be the next big character. And
also keep in mind, though, I also thought about this as well too. Granted, I really didn't like the whole rehashing thing. We talked about it, but the MCU really, for the most part, does not have any mutants. So it's for me, it's not out of the realm of possibility to think that Wanda brings mutants to the MCU in some form or fashion. How are they going to? I mean, they introduced them, and that reality, which was what, Earth 838. Yeah. So how would the mutants become in the MCU in Earth 616, which is where, I think where they are right now. So I don't know. So, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Wanda does something to reality that brings the mutants to the MCU.
That, or maybe we just know, maybe they're there in the universe. They just haven't been, haven't done anything.
They just maybe, and they just haven't done anything. You're right. But, they got to figure out, I'm pretty sure they're going to figure out some kind of way to introduce them into the MCU. Whether it be Wanda or just, hey, we were always here. We just never did anything. Or we were always in hiding.
Like the Eternals or something like that.
Correct. The Eternals. Well, the Inhumans is totally, something totally different. But just like the Eternals, or even maybe the Eternals does something to create them.
I'm trying to think of something. I'm trying to think of something else. He might. Oh, yeah, that's what I remembered. I think this movie also signified that Doctor Strange, with all the references of his deaths and everything, I think he's gonna be the next character that's gonna have that big penultimate sacrifice that probably saves everybody in a time of need. They're pretty much
you
setting
think
him up to be like the next guy.
this phase is Tony Stark.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I can see that too. They got so much going on with Wong and the mid-credit scene. I don't know if you want to lead into that or not, but the
We can go into that
scene,
now.
Yeah, the mid-credit scene played by Charlize Theron, who's a very great actress. I actually do like her in her movies. This character is called Clea, and she's also eventually becomes Sorcerer Supreme, and she also becomes Doctor Strange's wife. So I don't know if the MCU is going to do that, how they plan on incorporating her into the MCU. All I know is that she created, I can't remember if it was her or Doctor Strange that created the portal that they both walked through. I think it was her.
It was her.
But that's who she is. Now the part that I did not, that was the part that I liked. The part that I didn't like was the third eye on his forehead. I really didn't too much care for that. I know why they did it, and I know you'll probably tell me this is why they did it, but that's what the Eye of Agamotto was for, to be his so-called third eye. Now,
I think that is going to be the Eye of Agamotto.
Correct, but why they decided to not use the amulet, I mean, the amulet is right now just around his neck, is just a centerpiece, because, you know, earlier it was just a holding, it was just to hold the time stone, where the time stone is no longer there, but he still wore the amulet of the Eye of Agamotto throughout the movie. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, pop the eye in the amulet itself, as opposed to popping the third eye on his forehead. To me, it just didn't make any sense. You know, choose one or the other, but why have both?
I think that's a nitpick, but that's you.
Yeah, it's a nitpick. It is. It's me being an old head. I'm sorry. But I'm used to seeing the Eye of Agamotto around.
Yeah,
that's just me. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to nitpick. I really don't. But yeah, to me, it just wasn't a good look for me.
Okay. The dimension that looks like that there might be entering, because she's like, yeah, there's like an incursion going on. We need to fix
Correct.
it now. And we find out incursions in this film is when two universes essentially clash. Now, like we said earlier,
I'm sure.
Yeah, collide, collapse, and then destroy each other. And we already know, since they're building towards Secret Wars, there's going to be this gigantic incursion happening. Maybe this is what Doctor Strange 3 is going to lead into, create Secret Wars, and then they're going to have to do something about it. But it also looks like the area that they're entering is like the dark dimension with Dormammu.
Now, keep in mind, Clea, if I'm correct, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she's a relative of Dormammu. I don't know if it's a daughter, niece.
I think from what I heard from other people's reviews, I think she's like a cousin.
Yeah, she's a relative of Dormammu. I think it's something similar to when I get the reference, I'll bring it up. But Orion, that's what I was thinking about, but that's DC.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a relative, but at the same time, she's not really connected very well to the family, because, she's not evil. Dormammu is.
Yeah. So that's definitely where Doctor Strange is going to more than likely go. If not, that's definitely going to set. If not, there's any other movies that don't set up Secret Wars, Doctor Strange 3 is more than likely going to be the movie that's like, something bad's going to happen. This big incursion is going to happen. That's when, boom, I guarantee you can see a post-credit scene. Maybe you have Spider-Man be like, just walk up and be like, hey, Strange, what the heck's going on here? Next thing you know, they're in like a freaking Sandlands, and Secret Wars is right there.
Right there.
Again, it's based on what Marvel wants to do, what Kevin Feige wants to do. I think that would be a crazy post-credit scene for Doctor Strange 3. We'll see. Now, getting to the I want to say negatives, but the reason why people are, I guess you can say, trashing this movie because stupid reasons. It isn't a movie when people just trash things for stupid reasons. Okay. One of the reasons why people are legitimately like upset and just saying, okay, this movie just sucks, people were it's about the whole, oh, we didn't travel to more multiverses or different universes. We only traveled to the one universe and that's it. And it's like, okay,
Really?
yeah, that's one of them.
I mean, the movie would have been 4 hours long if you decide to hop to all of these different doggone dimensions. You're going to have some type of turmoil in all these dimensions. We're just going to add to the time of the movie. Yeah, I know I just got nitpicky for a second, but yeah, that's a real nitpick.
Yeah. I don't know why people said that. Now, would have been nice. Yes. Now, apparently there were 40 minutes cut off from this film, and maybe in those 40 minutes they actually did go to the universe. Now they cut it for probably apparently a reason. We don't know. Will we ever get maybe a extended director's cut for the DVD version? I highly doubt it. But you might see it in like deleted scenes or something.
Maybe.
So, those kind of thing. And it's like you kind of went to different multiverses. You just didn't explore them when they were crashing, when Doctor Strange and America Chavez were crashing through all the universes, which it was cool and everything.
Yeah, I like the character. I did like the character America Chavez because it was a new character. And it was really nice to see, certain areas of her backstory. So it was pretty cool, so-called, to see the Illuminati, Reed Richards, Monica Rambeau's mama. It was another name that
Maria Rambeau.
Maria Rambeau. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So, but all in all, I mean, it was, that stuff is just, I really liked America Chavez as an actress. I mean, as a hero. So, and who knows, man, we potentially probably could get more of her story as it relates to Secret Wars, if that is indeed the final arc of the phase. So I'm pretty sure that more is going to involve her, because it's this constant going through all these different multiverses. So more is going to involve America, and I'm really interested in seeing how she really closes this thing out, because I think is it really going to really involve her.
Yeah. The next scene, the next thing that people are critiquing so much that I think is so stupid. It's the Illuminati scene, and the whole fact that Wanda took them out just like that. These people, man. These people find so many stupid ways to complain about some of the stupidest things. And how the fact that, oh, she wiped the Illuminati that easily. Why freaking build these guys up so much and, just have them killed off right then and there? First things first, let's get something right. The title is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, not the Illuminati and the Multiverse of Madness.
That's true.
They already.
However, I will say this, and I did touch on it a little bit earlier, that it did kind of put a sour taste in my mouth about how easily she did it. Not that she did do it, but how easily she did it. Reed Richards basically telling Wanda, this is this man's superpower, so he's gonna destroy you. I'm the smartest guy in the universe, and I can decipher that, I'm going to tell you what this guy's power is. And I know you can stop it, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. That part just didn't sit right with me. I thought Reed Richards would have been really smarter than that, but
I find that funny, but that's just me.
No, when she did it, when she took it, he was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna just take his mouth. And then on top of that, she took his mouth, and the dumbass tried to talk anyway. I mean, what was you trying to do? Blow your mouth open? You just, So yeah, it didn't shock me that she destroyed the Illuminati. It really didn't. It was just, they made it easy for her to do it.
Yeah.
They made it easy for, although I would tell you, Captain Carter put up a good fight.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Although,
yeah.
She did get cut in half pretty
But
brutally.
she put up a good fight. Now I was kind of shocked that Maria Rambeau was done away so quickly.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show you how strong Wanda truly is. And even there's people that were upset about, oh, she defeated Professor Xavier so easily. Now, listen, I'm no X-Men dude. I don't know. The only X-Men I know is probably like Wolverine to like a little bit, pretty much the T, and then Storm, and then some of the well-known ones. But other than that, I don't affiliate with the X-Men. I don't know nothing about the X-Men.
Yeah, Professor X, basically, him and Magneto are the most powerful basically the most powerful mutants. Well, I mean, your X-Men old heads will probably say something to the Apocalypse or something like that. But for the main two, which stand the test of time, is Magneto and Professor X. And yeah, it did kind of. I was just like, okay, how she did Professor X. I was just like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was.
And people, apparently people were also upset about that, of how easy she's. I'm like, again, they've already specified how strong Wanda can be.
Correct.
So that's really nothing of a critique. And who's to say that maybe the MCU's version, because this was a completely different Earth. Maybe this one, the 616, whenever they introduced Professor Xavier, could be really freaking strong, maybe on the levels of that.
Correct.
We'll have to see. So that was kind of the whole.
And the 616 one, I'm pretty sure he has Cerebro, and and if he has Cerebro, then yeah, who knows if he and basically Wanda, for all intents and purposes, is a mutant.
Yeah.
So, or at least in the books, she's characterized as a mutant.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of the whole issue there. And then this leads me to I guess the last critiques that people were talking about, the little cameos and stuff like that. And even going back to the whole killing these characters off. Listen, John Krasinski, if he wants to, will come back in Fantastic Four.
Yes.
He's already going to be Reed Richards. So why are people crying
this was another reality's Reed Richards.
He can literally make a reappearance. Heck, people since the John Watts, who directed the Spider-Man Homecoming films and stuff like that, he left that whole thing. John Krasinski could end up being the director and playing Reed Richards in this movie. So you have that. He can come back. There were rumors and
all of them are coming back. All of them are coming back.
I would say except Maria Rambeau, though. She.
Well, yeah. In 616, yeah, she's dead because, again, I mean, her daughter's an adult. Her daughter's, she got old and passed away, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that part, But at the same time, though, it's like Earth 616 is where we are currently with the MCU. And all of these characters are yet to be introduced in the MCU. I found it quite cool that they picked this way to introduce these characters into the MCU. Now, what happened in that reality? I get I get all of that. I understand all of that. It's not like they brought Reed Richards on just to kill him. I mean, they didn't do anything like that. This is just another reality, another era, another universe. And that's all it is. So people lighten up. They're coming to the MCU. They got movies already set up for them. It's just a matter of when they do it.
I did find it funny how after that, the Black Bolt death scene happened when Wanda asked Reed
That scene
Richards,
was funny.
When
I thought that, I was like, come on, man. You don't be...
When Reed is like, Wanda, look, I understand what you're going through. I have kids of my own. And she's like, oh, do you have a wife? And he's like, yeah, I do. Which he referenced Sue Storm.
And Franklin, basically.
And I thought this was I think I actually laughed in the movie theater because she said, oh, well, they'll still have somebody to watch over them. And she literally turns this guy into noodles. Yep. And I was laughing a storm because I was like, oh, Honestly, I think that was even more stupid. We're talking about how stupid Reed Richards was in explaining Black Bolt's powers. I thought he was doing for just admitting that fact.
Yeah. I was just like, you know what? I'm just like, I really hope that when they do Reed Richards, they completely just, let's just make him smart, please. This cat was just, I mean, he was dumb as a box of rocks.
And before I talk about the whole cameo situation and stuff like that, the one thing, if people go on Twitter and see all the images of like whether it's like for the Marvel Disney Plus shows or anything, is like spoilers without context, and just they showed a regular image. They literally showed the whole Mr. Fantastic like death scene with just a bowl and like I'm guessing like those silly string noodles, blue and everything. And I honestly was laughing my butt off when I saw that. Okay, last point before we get off the video. Another reason, which is the last reason, is people were stupidly upset, is a combination of people getting their expectations way too damn high for this film in terms of the cameos.
Oh, okay. In terms of the cameos, all right. I think mine were not high in terms of the cameo.
In terms of the cameos. Yeah. Now, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Everybody in their mama knew Toby and Andrew were coming back, just from the standpoint they were bringing back the old villains from the past movies. And people saw that, they were like, "Oh my goodness, Multiverse of Madness is about to be insane. They're gonna have so many different cameos." People thought, "Oh, because Sam Raimi's directing this film, we're gonna see Tobey Maguire in another Marvel film." No appearance. You got the Toby stands who are like, "This movie sucks. I'm done." There were people speculating that Tom Cruise could be the version of
Iron Man. I saw that. That was stupid.
Doesn't make no appearance whatsoever. People who were fans of that theory. This movie's this movie sucks. They don't have Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Like, this man has a busy schedule. He's probably as busy as The Rock is when it comes to filming all these movies. Having maybe Andrew Garfield appear, the X-Men from the older X-Men films, Ben Affleck's Daredevil. What else? I saw a picture. What is it? The Hulk from the 2003 movie. Edward Norton. Weird cameos that would have made no sense.
No sense whatsoever.
Just to happen because, it's the multiverse and hey, this cameo would be great. I'm
going to be able to see all the heroes from my youth in this movie.
Yeah.
No, man. My only expectation was basically to see what's next.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be next. And unfortunately, because they rehashed all the Wanda stuff again, I felt I didn't get that.
Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand. But, people who were expecting all these whack cameos that were never going to more than likely happen, I don't know what you people were thinking.
You won't be satisfied then. You'll never be satisfied. You'll never be satisfied. And we can't expect them to be.
Yeah. And it goes to the whole thing of maybe coming into these movies, you might need to lower the expectations. Like,
correct.
Set them at a minimum level, like where you're not okay. You just figure out, okay, could this be a possibility? Maybe not, but I'm not gonna set my bar too high. Like, listen, correct. The big cameo was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, which everybody in their freaking mama was calling for to happen. They were really like, this guy is perfect for the role. You gotta have him here. They gave you that.
I don't know if he's perfect, but he was, it was good to see. It was good to see the introduction of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. I gotta admit, from that standpoint, from a cameo standpoint, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
It was really good to see the introduction of the X-Men and Final Four into the Fantastic Four into the MCU. From that whole, I need to see what's next. Yeah, that part I was really enjoyed when seeing. I wasn't trying to see, Nova. I wasn't trying to see Blade, which got introduced a little bit with the Eternals. I wasn't trying to see any of these other folks that you were going to see moving forward. But I wasn't trying. I was just trying to see the storyline, the next storyline, and how this movie is going to lead into the next movie. And unfortunately for me, I didn't get that.
Yeah. So, when it comes to these multiverse things, again, you'll probably get those big, gigantic cameos whenever the Secret Wars movies happens, and it's gonna happen.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
you might see Andrew and
Correct.
Toby appear again in another Marvel cinematic film in Secret Wars.
Well, I don't need to see them. I saw them already. I'm good.
I think Marvel's gonna call them back to come in Secret Wars.
Well, that's fine. I mean, but I don't need to see them 2 and 3 and 4 times. I don't need to see them in cameos or or how they're going to lead them into other movies or their single movies or what have you. Again, that's all I want. I just wanted to see what was going to be the next, how this movie was going to play into the overall storyline of the phase, and I just don't think I got that with WandaVision 2.0.
And that can be a fair criticism. I just think all these other people, they're just blowing smoke up just to blow smoke because
That's it.
That's the thing. In terms of the Illuminati characters that died, there's rumors that maybe a Captain Carter Disney Plus show could get started. I'm cool with seeing a Captain Carter show, even though it might be a rehash of Captain America: The First Avenger. But if they take a unique take on it, cool with it. I'm fine with it.
Well, that means they would have to open up, heroes of that dimension.
I think they'll just focus on her own story.
Yeah, but it will still be in that dimension. Earth 838. We're in Earth 616.
Unless there's another universe with a Captain Carter in it, which
or even if there's one,
they could do a live action version of the Captain Carter from What If.
Well, they could, or do one here in Earth, the current Earth 616.
I highly doubt that they would have.
I doubt it. No, don't get me wrong. I doubt it too. But again, when you're in that reality and you see those characters and you want to see more of those characters, I mean, it would stand to believe that may be fine, but you would have to focus on that dimension.
Yeah. Well, I don't think too much into that. Nah.
No, I don't think too much in it. I just think that that's just too much that adds to the conversation about what Marvel is trying to do and what you want to see. And yeah, man, let's stick with the current story at hand as far as where they're going with.
I think they're gonna do I think because people are gonna ask for more Captain Carter, I think they're gonna do a Captain
Maybe
Carter
so.
show.
But again, I mean, will it be in the current dimension where all of this stuff is happening, or they're gonna stick with Earth 838 or 858 or whatever Earth it was?
They're gonna do a different Earth version. I don't think that's gonna take away anything. That's just gonna.
I hope not, because what they're gonna wind up doing is introducing other characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they would dive in too much of introducing another character. They're just going to specify on one.
Well, let's hope they just stick to Captain Carter and Captain Carter alone.
I think Kevin Feige is smart enough to do that.
I hope so.
And Humans, I think that's definitely going to be a Disney Plus TV show. They're going to bring back the dude who played Black Bolt.
They did that with the ABC TV.
Yeah, but I think they're going to do their own.
It failed miserably.
They're going to do their own MCU version of it. They're going to totally acknowledge that way.
Well, they were eventually going to do a movie, and I'm not necessarily sure what happened as far as the reason behind it getting thrown to the back of the line. But they were originally going to do it, and they changed and decided to do a TV show. And again, ABC failed miserably at it.
Yeah. We already talked about Mr. Fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing before we get out of here, real quick. I did like, even though, like I said, I don't watch X-Men. I never watched the cartoon. I barely watched the movie.
You missed out on some good. You missed out on some amazing stories. Oh man, it's the X-Men back in those books back in the 80s and the early 90s. Amazing stories. Oh my goodness gracious. They really seriously need to bring the X-Men, because that group. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazing stories. You'll love them.
When Professor X came in and they played, I didn't watch it, but they played the old 1992 version of the song, the do 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 do.
I stood up in my seat.
Yeah. I know that, but again, I'm kind of mellow with them because I don't know the X-Men. But anyways, our timer is about to get off. So those were our thoughts on Doctor Strange 2: Multiverse of Madness. I enjoyed the film. And I can't wait to see what the MCU has next. The next thing that's going to be coming out is Miss Marvel and then Thor: Love and Thunder. So
WandaVision 2.0.
yeah. In terms of where we're gonna be next in our next review, our next review will be Moon Knight, the season finale. I know that's like gonna be like 2 weeks later, but we got to find a day to record it. I have to probably rewatch the episode just to refresh my memory.
Yeah, me too.
So
you know,
probably this weekend or sometime early next week we'll have that video up on the channel. But other than that, thank you for listening to our thoughts of Doctor Strange 2. If you like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's or on this movie's reviews for Doctor Strange, as well as hit the subscribe button for more content that I upload to the channel, which is either movie content or any of my anime content that I will try to get to you as fast as I can throughout the week. But anyways, guys, I'm Get Out for. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or night checking out this video. Till then, guys, peace.
later.